Alright guys, today is just me and you, so we're gonna take it easy. And I'm about to lose my voice, but it's okay, fuck it. So before we start, right, I need to share what kind of traveler I am to make you understand the context of why this solo trip is quite of a big deal for myself lah, okay? I am not a planner. I'm usually always the follower. I'm so lazy, guys. Like, I won't even plan. I won't know where to go. So every time I travel with someone, I'll just go with the flow. Sure, wherever you want to go, I'll go with you because I'm quite flexy like that, right? So getting on this solo trip was, in a sense, quite challenging for me because I'm so used to being the follower. So knowing that I actually have to, get my shit together, roll my sleeves up, and cannot rely on anyone or I'll freaking get lost or get kidnapped is a real thing. So I was a bit scared. And before the trip, I'm going to be very completely honest with you guys, I was freaking the hell out. I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to do? What am I going to do on my own? How am I going to navigate? Because everyone was telling me how complicated the train system in Japan is. Like, there's like 1,000,000 exits and like different routes and all that stuff. So yeah, and for someone who hates planning, like, I love to plan, it's crazy. But when it comes to traveling, for me, it's like a holiday, right? That's why my brain just shuts down. So on this trip, I have to keep it on in some ways. So yeah, even though I'm kind of on a solo trip, I actually didn't plan my day to a T. I'm more of a go with the flow person whenever I'm on vacation. I think that's just how I am because with work, I'm such a planner already. So when it comes to holiday, my brain just has this default mode where I just shut down. So yeah, some days I did plan, but overall I didn't really. I just kind of know what I want to do. I have some places I want to go, food that I want to eat, and I have that at the back of my head. And I woke up and I just go with the flow, right? So that's my trip. So the first question that a lot of you guys wanted to know was why and how I decided to go on a solo trip. So first things first, why, right? I mean, why not? I know a lot of you are curious, what it's like being on a solo trip. Well, honestly, it was really fun. I mean, not in the beginning, I would say. Like, the first 2 days was kind of like warm up, like how when you go on a workout, you got to warm up fast. But as soon as I was done warming up, I was on a roll, girl. Like, I don't want to talk to people. I was just on my own. I was so happy. But yeah, the simplest answer is why did I go on a solo trip is why not? I've always wanted to do that. There's really no special reason, but if I have to reason my decision, I thought about it because I wrote everything down. It would be because I guess I can finally afford it. It's something that I've always wondered about. Because when you're on a solo trip, you technically don't get to share expenses with anyone. So it is a little bit more expensive, right? If you go with a couple or your partner, your friend, you get to share everything together. But when you're on a solo trip, you don't get to do that. So yeah, I decided to do it because I'm like, okay, I think I can afford it. I worked so hard and I think I deserve this for myself. So why not? And if not now, when, right? Y'all know I'm already in my early 30s. Eventually, I'm going to settle down, have a kid. And I know realistically, if I have a kid, going on a solo trip like this for this long, it requires a lot of planning. And now that I don't have that kind of commitment, and I just want to do it before, not that it's too late, not that I can't ever do it if I have a kid, but it's just going to be a little bit different, right? Like, let's be honest. And I know actually a lot of you mamas, like soon-to-be mummies and new moms actually DM'd me and said that you wish you did it earlier because COVID and all that. But I say, well, don't limit yourself. If you can, try. Even if it's 5 days, even if it's 3 days, I think that time away, you don't have to be 2 weeks of a solo trip. I know that's quite long, maybe hard to be away for that long, but I think a week or less than that, I think is still okay. Whatever works for you, right? So yes, next question is, why Japan? I actually thought about this a lot. Like, I scrolled through the entire globe. I'm like, where should I go? South Korea was one of the destination. I did ask around a lot. I did do a lot of research as well. But they all kind of drew me to Japan. It's arguably one of the safest country and city in the world. And after experiencing it and after reading about it, I think all those articles has some truth to it. I did feel very safe, even though I was walking in the middle of the road at midnight. Okay, maybe not midnight, like 11-ish. But the sun goes down quite early, so the sky is already very dark. At 8 p.m., it does feel like already 11 p.m. And I don't know why in Kyoto, especially by 8 p.m., right? Like everyone just goes home. The streets are empty at 8 freaking p.m. It's not common here in Malaysia, right? So for me, I was still roaming around. I didn't want to go to bed so early. So yeah, I was just walking around and I felt safe. That's all I can say. But of course, as safe as any place is, you still have to be wary. There will always be some creep and crazy person out there. So don't take it for granted. I was still very alert, and especially when I'm on an empty street. So just keep your eye out for all those things lah. I think don't be so feel too safe until you don't care about your surrounding. I think as safe as it was, I was still quite aware, and I made sure to look around before I do anything. And also, right, guys, in Japan, being alone is somewhat normalized and celebrated. I read about this as well, and it's true, right? It says that it's also incorporated into the language because they have this term. Listen, it's called, forgive me if I'm not saying it right, but it's ohi tori-sama, which roughly translates to party for one or on your own. Again, it's ohi tori-sama. It refers to people living and doing things alone. And if you think about it, everywhere in Japan, right, you eat in cubicles, y'all. Even if you come in group, right, they make you eat in cubicles with this divider between you. So for me, being there alone, actually, I felt, yes, I don't have to talk to anyone and I don't have to separate with my friends, because it was a little bit annoying lah. Because if you come in like a group of 5 and then all of you have to take Ichiran, for example. I saw this family of 4, like parents and 2 kids. The mom was having a hard time trying to feed the child because the child had to eat in a cubicle. So for me, it was quite funny. But in Japan, it's such a norm. I think I can say it's really made for solo travelers, especially female. Like everywhere, it's just so female friendly. And if you have period, right? I actually had period when I was in Japan. Toilet's the best. You don't have to say anything. Like you can poop and clean yourself really nicely with heated toilet seats. So how can you get that? Not in Europe, so dirty. Not in Malaysia. I mean, I felt so comfortable there, really. So, I had no issues with safety, thank goodness. But I was also very wary. I think I felt so comfortable there, and that's why I picked Japan. And the final reason why I was like, okay, I'm going to Japan, was because I actually went to therapy for this. I told my therapist, I want to go on a solo trip. Where do I go? I don't know where to go. And she's like, oh, I went to Japan on my own for 5 times already. Japan is so safe. So she kind of gave me the assurance. And I hope this episode maybe could give you that assurance that, well, Japan was great. I think it's a great first destination for a solo trip. Definitely. So I wasn't completely alone, by the way. I think you all know that Joseph was there as well. So we did have a slight overlap in between, but after that I was on my own. But I also met a lot of other friends on the trip. So I guess because Japan is such a popular destination, I'm pretty sure you will bump into a friend or two or make some friends while you're there. I think that's really not much issue. So moving on to the next part. What did I do in Japan? And a lot of you guys are asking for my rough itinerary. Swear to God, guys, I don't remember what I did. Like I told you, I didn't have a fixed itinerary. I had places I wanted to go, food that I wanted to eat. But I can roughly tell you where I went. But I can't give you to a T because I didn't even have it for myself. I really wandered around the city and let that bring me to where I was going to be. Really, I swear to God. Like I was in Harajuku, and then the next thing I was walking to Shibuya. And I'm like, oh, I'm already here. Sure, then I'll chill here. And then I walked back to Harajuku, and then I went back to Shinjuku. So I was all over the place. And I really liked that. I had no plan. And I think that's also another beauty of traveling solo, because you don't have to. You know, when you're traveling with somebody, like your friend maybe, or your partner's like, yeah, why you want to go back there? But if you want, you go lah. Or you're on a solo trip, no one's there to tell you no. And that's the best freaking part. You don't want to eat at lunchtime? Sure. You want to eat your breakfast at 4 p.m.? Sure. Whatever you want. Your rules, your trip, right? So for this trip, I had 2 weeks and I planned my trip. I landed in Tokyo and I was going to fly back from Tokyo. So you can imagine how Tokyo is sandwiching my trip, right? So I start with Tokyo and I end with Tokyo. And in between, I was in Kyoto for quite a number of nights because I know everybody goes to Osaka as well. But for me, I thought, I'm already living in a city. I'm already going to a city that's Tokyo. I want something different. And I didn't want to go to Osaka, which is another city, to eat again. And I'm on my own. How much can I eat, right? So I thought, I'm going to sacrifice Osaka, which I'm very happy I did. I'm sorry, I'm going to come back Osaka, but not this trip. I feel I'm talking to a person. So, okay, so first week at Tokyo, I went to Shibuya Sky. I think I posted about that. It was beautiful. You guys, I think if you ever go to Tokyo, definitely make a trip down to Shibuya Sky. It's basically like a tower where you can observe the entire city in a not area view, like 360 view. Is so beautiful. I've been to many countries and their observatory deck, right? Like in Macau, in Berlin, in I forgot where else I went, but many other places. But this one has the prettiest facilities. It's so chantik, guys. You just go. I actually booked it on Klook. We booked it on Klook, I think. I don't remember. Yeah, Klook. No, wait, we didn't book it on Klook because it was sold out for the timings we wanted. So we actually booked it separately. You know what? I forgot, but Klook has it. Okay, you guys can go check it out. The timing that's very popular is the sunset. So that's the timing that I didn't catch. I went with Joseph for this one. We didn't catch the sunset, which was very disappointing. But the night view was also very nice. So you can always do the evening all the way till night because sun goes down by 6 o'clock. I think that's a nice, you get both. I don't think anyone will kick you out the moment you're there. So you want to stay as long as you want? Sure. So yeah, I think 4 to 6 and you stay till like 7. I think that's a sweet spot. I didn't get the sunset though. So we only arrived at about 7. It was already quite dark. So yes, Shibuya Sky. And another spot that's gorgeous. Oh my God. It's the Shinjuku Gyon. I think that's their national park. It's huge. Like you guys have to just go there, go grab some food at a combini and then walk over there and just chill. It's damn nice, like the greeneries. I'm not sure about winter because I heard the trees go bald, right? But I went during spring, so it was so lush, so green. Sakura was still there. I saw a little bit of it. I wasn't like too desperate to catch Sakura because I feel like I can always come back the next time. But yeah. Shopping-wise, I enjoyed Harajuku and Shibuya. I know a lot of people actually recommended the Shimo Kitazawa, which is the popular thrifting spot. I went there as well, but we didn't find anything. It was so overpriced, one. Two, I couldn't find anything I want. I'm not sure if it's because it's too many options, but yeah, I just did not even buy anything. So felt like I wasted half a day there, but you know, still got to explore different spots. So personally, I think Kyoto has way better thrift shopping. Honestly, I really didn't expect that. I didn't even expect, I'm sorry, but I really thought Kyoto was like a kampong area, right? Because they say it's traditional town and all that. But dude, it has every freaking thing. It's so freaking nice. I'll get to Kyoto in a bit. But another spot I went to in Tokyo was also the National Arts Center. Currently, until June, they're having this Louvre exhibition, basically like original pieces from the Louvre Museum in Paris, in Tokyo for this period of time. Again, I forgot how much I paid. You guys can check it out. I forgot everything. I'm not very useful. Another tour that I took from Tokyo was the one to Mount Fuji. Now, this was worth it. This one I knew I needed to go with a tour because I really don't know how to navigate my way to Mount Fuji on my own and I don't know what to do there. So I booked this tour on Klook and it was the best decision ever because as much as tours sometimes can get annoying because you have to follow their timing, I think this one was pretty okay. The tour guide was a little bit strict lah. The first time actually I was late. So he very passive aggressive, you know. He said, "We have to be here 9 a.m. If you follow, you must follow. No late. You follow the late, everything else is late. Then we cannot go back in time. We cannot go back to Tokyo in time." And it was talking about me. But why was I late? Because my seatmate, she gave me the wrong time. She told me like 9 a.m. Actually, we're supposed to be back by 8:50 a.m. I'm like, shit. But I didn't say anything. I just said, I'm sorry. I said, sumimasen, gomenasai. I forgot. But I said, I'm sorry. I felt so bad. He was so fierce. But I guess Japanese are very, they follow rules, right? So after that, I didn't dare to be late. I was 5 minutes early every single time. Yeah, also because I had no one with me. So I have to really follow time really well and remind myself. I actually set timer, guys. I'm not going to lie because got no one to remind me. So that's another tip. I would love to stay longer at Mount Fuji, but maybe another trip. It was the most beautiful, beautiful view I've ever seen in my life. I know you guys saw the one on my Instagram. There's nothing compared to what you see with your own eyes. Like that mountain was so majestic. It was unreal. It was straight out of a postcard, but with your own eyes. It's crazy. And also I felt I was very, very lucky because the weather wasn't very great, and I met a few other people who said they went to Mount Fuji. They didn't actually catch Mount Fuji because it was too cloudy. And when I went, y'all saw the view. It was clear blue skies. And yeah, I'm just so, so grateful. I felt like I was very lucky this trip, and I'll tell you more later. Another place I went was Tsukiji Market. That's the popular spot, the pasar that everybody goes to. Why I recommend it? Definitely go, but when I went there, I didn't actually enjoy myself because it was raining, drizzling the whole freaking day. It was very cold and everyone was holding their umbrella. My eyes almost got poked like 10 times. So it was very difficult to navigate around, and because everybody's umbrella was open, you can't actually see stuff. You can't actually go through, and yeah, it was tough. I didn't really enjoy myself, but it's okay. I did eat some good food, so that's good. And the final spot that I went, I think it's a final spot. I feel like I went to more places, but these are worth mentioning. Team Labs. Yeah, everybody said that you must go to Team Labs. You know that experiential. You guys know about Team Labs? No? The one that everybody posts about, the glitter, the glitter spot, and I don't know, the one where you walk through water and everything. Yeah, I don't know, would you call it a museum? But it's an experience spot. Yeah, it was cool, like super cool, but I won't say I really enjoyed myself because the crowd was so insane. We got tickets, right? And we still have to wait about an hour and a half outside under the rain to get in. And the moment you get in, you feel like there's hundreds of people in there. Yeah, I just felt like it was such a peak season. I didn't really enjoy myself there. Maybe because I'm a bit claustrophobic and there's just so many people. So yeah, anyway, let's move on to Kyoto, my favorite part. I was just waiting to get there. Yeah, Kyoto was amazing, guys. Please go there. But again, if you're a total city person, I don't know if you like that because to some people it was boring. In fact, some of my friends told me that, yo, you sure you want to go to Kyoto so many nights? It's quite boring, leh. Osaka has more things, leh. But for me, I think Kyoto was great. It was so good. I like that it was quiet, but at the same time, you've got everything you need. Y'all, some of the biggest brands are there as well, so you don't have to worry. In fact, they've got so many more artisanal brands and also like just nice stuff to check out. And the stores are so nice in traditional buildings and like, I love it, I love it. So where to stay in Kyoto? I stayed in this area, which is the main city, like the main spot. It's Kawaramachi. And I think that was a good spot because it was not smack in the middle of the city, but it was where all the more quieter area is. So at night, you get some privacy. It's not too busy. But if you want to go to that busy spot, busy street, it's like 5 minutes walk. So it's really, really nice. And right outside, we've got restaurant, you've got Lawson, you've got Family Mart, all in walking distance. And I think I shared with you guys where I stayed. It was this really cute capsule hotel called Maja Hotel. It was really walking distance to everywhere. From Nishiki Market, also like less than 10 minutes walk. Everywhere is just so accessible. Even to the train station, so easy. Everything was a flat road, so you don't have to really worry about lugging your luggage everywhere, except for when you're at the train station. So yeah, I actually planned my Kyoto like this. The day I arrive, it's 3 hours Shinkansen ride from Tokyo, right? So by the time I arrive, it's already evening. So as soon as I arrived, I actually did my own walking. I walked to Gion. I took a bus to Gion and then to this other area called, oh my God, I forgot. but the spot where they've got the very famous Starbucks with tatami mats, right? So I went over there and I walked from there to Gyeon and back to Kawaramachi, which is like 15 minutes walk, slow walk. It was really nice under the weather, no issues at all. So I explored that area myself. I didn't get to see any geisha, unfortunately. It was raining, but it's okay. But yeah, the next day, so what I did was I did all the touristy spots, you know, like the bamboo forest, the one that Kim Kardashian went, the Fushimi Inari, Inari? Sorry, every time I say Inari, it's like the sushi in my head. Let me see. Yeah. Oh yes, Higashimaya area. Sorry, I'm just all over the place. That's why I cannot give you itinerary. Just give you the area, right? So the touristy spot were Kiyomizu-dera, the big temple area. And then the torii gates, and I did all that all in one day. So I roughly know how to navigate myself after that. So that's what I did. Because I didn't want to split them all to all different days because it's quite tiring to go on different tours. So I did one tour in Kyoto and then visited everything else myself. I think that's one thing you could do because if you're on a solo travel, you likely want to discover things on your own at your own time, right? So yeah, do I recommend going on a tour? Yes, maybe at least one so you roughly know where to go. But if you already know where to go, maybe you don't even need a tour. Yeah, I navigated every other day on my own. And the following subsequent days were my day trip to Nara and my day trip to Hiroshima. So at Nara was great. I actually booked a tour, but I had to cancel it because I had, I don't know, like slight food poisoning or whatnot. So I told them that I'm so sorry, I can't do it because, you know, when you're on a tour, you have to follow a tour timing, you know. If I need to shit for like 30 minutes, then they'll miss me at the bus and they'll scold me again. So I didn't want to. And it's so embarrassing. I was really going to the toilet so many times. So I was like, managed to cancel it. And yeah, kind of glad I didn't because I eventually discovered Nara a little bit more instead of just shrine hopping, because with tours they put a lot of shrines in the tour and then the main thing is towards the end. So I'm kind of glad I didn't. But again, if you go with your family, maybe with more elderly, maybe they would appreciate that a little bit more. So for me, I feel like I've covered most of the shrines the day before. I didn't want to see more and didn't need to see more. So yeah, I didn't go for the tour. So that's a tip right there. If you don't want to go on a tour, you need to really plan your tour as well. You don't simply book tours because it's not cheap, right? Per tour, at least 500 ringgit because this is like a day trip from Kyoto. So unless you are already in Nara, then it's a little bit cheaper. But the transportation, it's an hour, right? So they do take that into consideration. Yeah, plan your tours properly. I would say go with lesser tours if you know you are someone who enjoys your own freedom, because with a tour, right, you really have to follow their timing. And that's one thing that's a little limiting in some ways. Yeah. So I would suggest not overbooking your tours because being on your own is nice as well. Sorry. So one of the reasons why I say I don't recommend tours for all, because at some point they went to so many shrines, I ended up being at the bus like 20 minutes earlier because there's nothing else to see already. And I'm on my own, no one to take picture for me. And I didn't want to keep taking pictures of myself with the shrines and the pagoda and everything. So like no point, right? But I understand if you're there with your family, with your kids, they were all really enjoying themselves. So I think for solo travelers with tours, you need to pick very well. Yeah, I think that's one thing. Because before this, when I went on tours with a friend or with someone else, with Joseph at the time, when we really enjoyed ourselves, the timing was just nice. But when you're on a solo trip, maybe a bit different. Okay, guys, this is the highlight of my trip. I have to share this. As much as I love Tokyo, as much as I love Kyoto, I think my highlight has to be Hiroshima because I am a history nerd. I think I talked about this on socials already. Every time I travel to a country, I would love to study and learn about their history. So the last time I did something like this was in Berlin. Sucks that time no reels I couldn't share. But I went to Berlin. I went to a concentration camp there. I know, you know, during the Nazi period and how it's really quite an experience, but I won't say I enjoyed it because it's a very dark experience, right? So yeah, this time I told myself, oh my God, since I'm here and it's only about 2 hours from Kyoto, I'll just sacrifice one day discovering Kyoto and go to Hiroshima. I think it's okay. For me, it's worth it, right? But not for everyone. People who don't care, maybe for this is a little bit of a waste of time. But for me, it was like, oh my God, I have to go there. I woke up at 6 a.m., guys, and your timing back in KL was 5 freaking a.m. I don't even wake up there early for anything here, right? Unless I have to work lah. But yeah, no regret sacrificing Osaka because this was supposed to be my Osaka day. But I thought, nah, I don't think I want to do Osaka. I don't want to eat more. I just want to experience. So yeah, I think I shared a lot as well how Hiroshima was basically Hiroshima and Nagasaki, but Nagasaki is way down south, so a little bit too far for me. It was a city that was once completely destroyed by the nuclear bomb. Like, I'm not even kidding. If you guys saw the animation that I shared on my story and on my reel, it is very devastating. My heart dropped when I saw it because I cannot imagine. I was standing right exactly at the spot where everything was wiped out. Just imagining me there and something just wiped me out and I die on the spot. I cannot imagine. And I think about 140,000 people died on the spot in a day. So the moment I stepped foot in the city, right? Oh my God, I actually had shivers down my spine. I could literally feel the terror that was once here, the devastation. It felt so real. Even though the city has rebuilt itself, it was bustling, but I could still feel the sadness that's still there, you know, with the people. But yeah, if you guys ever had the chance, please go check it out. It's worth it. At least for me, it was 2 hours ride, so it's quite long lah. I arrived around 10 a.m. and I was there till 4 something because I was distracted by this man. This man caught my attention. I cannot believe I met him. So basically, his name is Mito Kosei, and he's an actual survivor that is alive and well today, dedicating his whole life to educating people about the A-bomb. They call it A-bomb now, that happened in 1945, and he's just keeping Hiroshima alive. And if you Google him, you can see articles about him. And he was very proudly sharing to some of the tourists, oh, you're from Australia? I've been on ABC. So I'm guessing it's the Australian version of BBC. I'm not sure what's ABC, because for me, ABC means American Born Chinese, right? So yeah, different abbreviation, different meaning. But yeah, he was very proud of what he does. And I think it was so nice to see, because the first time I arrived, right, I walked right past him, you guys, because if you saw my my post, it's so unassuming, I wouldn't know. And Malaysia is very full of scammers, of all these people that share story and then take money from you, say, I give you story, you will donate some to my life and all that. So I really didn't think too much about how big of a deal he is. And he's so freaking humble about it. Like, I just didn't know. So when I came back, I was like, okay, about to go home. Okay, what's this guy doing? Because I saw the sign saying, Survivor Speaks. I'm like, okay, let's check it out. And he was just sitting there on the ground with his bicycle, and I asked him, what is this? And I started telling me, oh, where are you from? And I'm like, Malaysia. And then he took out a picture of Tun M. Mahathir and said, this is your prime minister, right? I'm like, yeah, of course. Is that you? Because I can't see his face. It's just like his back, you know. Is this you? And then he started telling his story that he was an actual survivor. So guys, I actually want to read this out for you. It's just a paragraph that he wrote. It's postscript by Mito Kosei in 2013. So I think it's going to be a nice summary for those of you who are listening right now to have some context as to what he is and what he does and who he is. And I thought, since it's a podcast, I might as well read it like a story time. Okay, so guys, story time. Not realizing that there was a radiation in the city, my mother entered Hiroshima 3 days after the bomb was dropped to see what happened to their house. She was 4 months pregnant with me. I was born in January 1946. The bomb happened in 1945, by the way, in August. I was very sickly in my childhood and was absent from school for almost a month, suffering from many kinds of infectious disease, which might have been because of a weak immunity. My mother had bladder cancer 18 years ago, but luckily she got well. 8 years ago, she suddenly had high fever and severe pain in the back because of a certain virus. She was in the hospital almost half a year and confined to bed for more than 4 months. And at one point, she could not stand up because of weak muscles. Her doctor said it could take her at least half a year before she could go shopping. But she naturally has a strong mind, and she worked hard and exercised for rehabilitation for 2 months in the hospital. And 3 months after leaving the hospital, she was able to go shopping in Hiroshima. So cute, he says shopping. Now at age 95, this was in 2013, yeah? She's 105 years old now. Now at age 95, she's very well and looks much younger. Physically, my father remained very healthy except for the last year of his life when he was senile and had diabetes. He died 11 years ago at the age of 93. My father never told us anything about what he experienced. All his life, he kept silent because of the emotional trauma. The survivors never got any treatment to deal with this mental stress, and even today, 67 years later, very few of the survivors can tell their stories to others. When I decided to be a guide at a Hiroshima Peace Park, I asked my mother to write a testimony of the experience, at least about her father. Her father died, by the way. But because of the emotional trauma, it took her half a year to even start writing, and she needed another half a year to finish it. She still does not ever write about what she saw when she entered Hiroshima 3 days after the bomb happened. She still cannot share what she saw until today at 105 years old. So, and after being there at the museum, I can understand why. One of the most graphic image that I saw was like this kid, because the heat was so intense, like it could melt a glass bottle, guys. Can you imagine what it can do to our skin? So their skin started melting and skin was just dangling. Like your entire piece of skin was dangling. Yeah, it's very hard. So as you go through the museum, you hear people sobbing and crying, and yeah, it's something that a reminder for us that war shouldn't happen again. Nuclear bombs should not be even created in the first place. But yeah, it's a very I would say it changed my life, but it did open my eyes to a lot of things. So yeah, if you get to experience it, go for it. And if you ever meet Kimito Kosei, guys, don't walk past him. I swear to God, just stay and listen to his stories. I was there for at least another 40 minutes. Almost missed my train, but it was worth it. Okay, the next question that a lot of y'all want to know was, how much did I spend? Again, I'm not a planner. I had a rough budget and I just went with that. I did calculate to a T. So for context, you guys, I actually booked this trip really, really last minute due to my work schedule. I was supposed to go in February, but at the time I got rumors and news that Park Seo-joon was coming. So I was not going to book a flight out of Malaysia. Okay, that's not going to happen. So I postponed my trip because of Park Seo-joon. I'm to let you know right now, seriously supposed to go in February because it was still quite cold. I'm kind of glad I didn't. It's too cold. Then March got super busy and I just couldn't find the time to do it. So it was very last minute. So don't be like me. But for me, time is money. Money is time. So I had to sacrifice some things. You know I can't plan my schedule way too ahead because for my line of work, sometimes I feel like there's no off times. So the only time I feel like maybe I can be away for this long is the Raya season where campaigns slows down a little bit more. But because March, the time was like peak, you know. If money come knocking on my door, I'm not going to say no, you know what I'm saying? But yes, yeah, supposed to go in February and March, didn't happen. So this might not be the best guide with a budget, but gives you a rough gauge, huh? If you also have to plan last minute. So do take consideration, it's a last minute booking and also a peak season, the Sakura season, which is insane. That's why a lot of people went after. I would say maybe May onwards is still okay. The price dropped, man. Like it's crazy. There was one hotel that I saw during the Sakura season. It was like 1,002 ringgit per night. Y'all, it's crazy. They freaking milk this shit, I tell you. And then post Sakura season, it dropped down to like 400. I'm like, bro, that's like 3 times. Freaking hell, daylight robbery. But Sakura is so powerful like that, Lord, they can charge ma. What to do? But that's why I wasn't such a big deal about, I wasn't making a big deal about Sakura. I was okay to not catch it, but I managed to catch a little bit of it. It was beautiful for sure. That's why people go. So yeah, I did spend quite a bit just on flight and accommodation because of this reason. Last minute and peak season and last minute. Okay, so my flight I booked ANA. By the way, my trip wasn't sponsored. I know everybody kept asking me, I'm sure your trip was sponsored. That's why you can do so much. I'm sorry, only some of the tours were sponsored. I think the amount that was sponsored was maybe about 1,000 ringgit, and I spent way more than that. Just for clarification, okay? But yes, I've definitely been on sponsored trips, which you guys will definitely know. But this is like my personal trip. That's why I feel like I was quite proud of myself to be able to get on it. So yes, flights, my ANA flights was 3,005 ringgit, very last minute. I flew to Narita, and the same flight to Haneda, that's way closer to Tokyo, was double the price. So you guys do your math. I don't know why flights to Narita, which is a little bit further, about an hour and a half, is slightly cheaper. But definitely you can find cheaper flights that's not ANA. I think someone told me this Philippine airline or Vietnamese airline, but you have to lay over there for like 8 hours. So if you don't mind doing that and get 1,005 ringgit flight, sure. But for me, again, time is money. I don't want to spend 8 hours laying over at a city that I cannot really explore with such a short time as well. So it really is about what you want to prioritize. And for me, I was prioritizing time. So in some ways, I am buying time, right? So yes, 3.5 for the flights. I booked like less than a month ago. Okay, guys, just saying. So if you booked earlier, can be cheaper. Because right now I checked for October. ANA was about 2.7. Batik Air was also 2.5. So might as well get ANA for Japan, right? Yeah, hotels wise, like I told you, it's peak season. So it will be different at different times of the year. But I would say for me, because it was so last minute, it was average 400 to 500 per night. So it was quite expensive in total, about 5,000-ish just for hotels. But the one hotel that kind of helped me save a little bit of budget was the Maja Hotel, which was the capsule hotel. But I also booked a slightly more, I won't say luxurious, a nicer capsule hotel, because some of the capsule hotel are really, really small. You can definitely get it for less than 100 ringgit per night. But for me, I'm a bit claustrophobic and I have such a big ass luggage. I knew it was going to be a struggle. So yeah, I wasn't planning to budget too much with my hotels and flights this time around because I know I'm already so last minute, I won't have much options. But I was lucky to find this capsule hotel, which is really the only one that was still available. Maybe because it's slightly more expensive. I think that explains. But for me, it was worth it lah, okay? Because I haven't been on a holiday for 4 years. So it's like my 4 years worth of budget for this. So yes, in terms of hotels, I'm so sure you can get it for 200 to 300 per night or lesser. And capsule hotel, even lesser if you plan way ahead. And then there's the JR Rail Pass, right? Everybody asks about this. What is it for? So it's basically it's not just for the Shinkansen, which is the bullet train. It's also for some of the local JR lines that is in Tokyo, I think. Again, there's just too many train lines that I cannot really remember. But with the JR Rail, you can take the bullet train anywhere within the 7 days. So I know I was there for about almost 2 weeks, but I only took 7 days. And the pass itself is not cheap. It's almost 1,000 ringgit. So you guys really need to plan properly. That's why you have to plan your trips properly. I only activated the pass on the day I went to Kyoto because to go to Kyoto, I need to take the bullet train. So you guys know what I'm saying, right? And by the time I come back, it was my last day. So it was just nice. And the JR Rail also covers the NEX, which is the Narita Express, kind of like our KLIA Express. So everything is covered. So if you plan properly, you actually save a lot more compared to buying individual tickets. But like, for example, let's say I met Jane and Ashley and Hanpin, they're all right. They weren't there for too many days. So they actually didn't get the JR pass, which makes sense because they only needed like one time of Shinkansen ride or something. So just buy an individual pass. But if you, like me, I took train from Tokyo to Kyoto, Kyoto to Hiroshima, Hiroshima back to Kyoto, and then Kyoto back to Tokyo, and then in between as well. So it makes sense for me to get the JR Rail Pass. Yeah. Apparently they're going to increase price end of this year. I don't know why, like a lot more expensive. So that's crazy. Mine was about 987, almost 1,000 ringgit. So traveling in Japan, I won't say it's too expensive if you plan, because if you don't plan, you're going to waste a lot of money. Yeah, in terms of food budget, I'm a very simple gal, guys. Konbini food can make me very happy for a long time. I don't really go for omakase. I don't eat Wagyu beef because I don't eat beef. So my taste bud, not very expensive. So 150 ringgit a day to 200 if you really want to, treat yourself is okay. But of course, if you go to omakase and all that, that's definitely not enough. I think one meal also already 400-500 ringgit. So really hard for me to give you guys that budget. But I would say if you want to go on a budget to Japan for almost 2 weeks or like that, I think 10K is doable if you really plan ahead for your food, for your hotel, for your flights. I think it's doable if you really plan and you have to really budget, meaning you can't keep going to nice restaurants, maybe more just konbini food and focus on traveling instead and experiencing things. So yeah, because there's just so many different types of travelers out there. So I really can't really give you guys a budget. Like for me, this time I didn't really budget too much on the hotels and flights, but some other trips I do because this time I was so last minute. So yeah, I would say 10K is a good start. So yeah, start saving up. It's worth it. Because it really depends how much your accommodation and flight takes up the chunk of your budget. But yeah, 10K is doable. Okay, next. I hope that was helpful, guys. If you have more questions, just drop in the comments down below or tag me in your stories. I will reply if I see it. Next one. What are the takeaways on traveling solo? Would I do it again? Rule number 1. Never tell strangers that you are traveling alone. So on my first day solo, after Joseph left, my first day solo, I was so excited. So gung-ho. So I told everyone that I met, oh yeah, I'm here traveling solo. Until I met that guy. Remember I told you this Chinese guy? So he's not Japanese, not very cute. He's like from Shanghai. I was walking past this thrift shop, the shop that I bought the green cap. Very nice cap. And there's this black color version. So I was deciding between black and green. I was standing in front of the mirror and then suddenly this guy came to me and said, I think the green one looks better on you. And I'm like, oh, so nice. People in Japan, so nice, huh? Then he started asking me questions and I'm like, oh, what are you doing here? And then he said, oh, I'm here on a business trip. I'm like, oh, cool, nice. Oh, so you're not from Japan? Oh, 我是上海人啊. I'm like, oh, great. But before that, I already told him I'm traveling solo. So I'm like, shite. But I thought, okay, maybe he's harmless. He's just trying to recommend me a nice cab and being nice. Because you really came out of nowhere. And then when I paid for the cab, I realized he also went to pay for his cab. His outfit didn't look like he needed a cab, okay? Let's just say. I don't know why he bought it. And then he started asking me, do you have any plans after this? You want to have lunch? And I'm like, oh, shit. But I didn't show it in my face. I don't want to offend him or anything. So my mind quickly deflected and said, oh, I'm actually meeting my friend at the museum. I gotta go now. Bye. So really, rule number 1, just don't tell anyone. Always say that, oh, I'm meeting your friend, or you've got a friend waiting for you. You are meeting some friends. Just never tell anyone that you're alone. Technically, I had friends around, but I guess I was just a little bit too gung-ho because it was my first time. Wasn't too aware about the whole don't tell people rule. So if you haven't gone yet, don't tell people. I know you're excited, but just keep it to yourself. Or share with your online friends because no one knows. Well, technically, being online is also very dangerous. So another rule is when you're traveling online, never post anything in real time. So I actually posted everything only when I got back in the hotel. In fact, most of the days I didn't really post because I was just busy enjoying myself and immersing myself in the experience. So don't post anything in real time, especially your hotels, because some hotels, anyone can just enter and you'll never know. Internet is a free world. Anyone can do anything. So I do not recommend you guys sharing and disclosing your location, especially where you stay, especially if you're on your own, especially if you're a solo female traveler. Yeah? Anyone can just knock on your door and say room service. And if you open the door, anything can happen. Look at Kim Kardashian. Even Kim Kardashian can almost get kidnapped. So what more a solo traveler in a foreign country? Just be very careful. As much as I was, I felt safe, I was also very careful, like I mentioned. So did I get lost? Yes, one time. I took the wrong train because sometimes the same platform, they've got like different trains to different location one, okay? And everything is Japanese, so I couldn't understand. So I actually hopped on this train and I realized, oh my God, the next stop is not the stop I want to go to. Holy shit. So what I did was I got off immediately at the next station and I took the train on the other side and went back to the station that I was at. So it was pretty doable. Like, I don't think I've ever gotten into deep trouble getting lost. It was quite fun getting lost, to be very honest. And on my way to Hiroshima, because thank goodness Hiroshima was the last stop, I fell asleep on the train. And and by the time the train man woke me up, he's like, "Sumimasen, sumimasen," something in Japanese. I'm like, oh my God. Then I woke up. Everyone on the train, babe, the Shinkansen is a long train. No one was left. Only me. It was so funny. So when I woke up, I was like, oh my God, panic. I actually don't know where I was because you know how you're like, someone jerk you up from your sleep and you just are still in your dream and you're still blur. I was there for like 5 minutes. I walked out of the train. I'm like, wait, where am I? Am I here already? Wait, oh shit, am I the right stop? I was just like all over the place until I saw the sign, welcome to Hiroshima, the one I posted, I'm at the right spot. So, because I really didn't know. And most of the things were in Japanese. But yeah, I was just blurred up. But yeah, don't worry guys, I was okay. Yeah, I think I would totally do it again. In fact, I'm planning for my next one. I would love to maybe go to South Korea for my next one. Who knows, I might bump into Park Seo-joon because I'm a lucky gal. Yeah, I would definitely do it again. Another tips and tricks I would say, again, I think for the areas wise, I know my friends really enjoyed Shinjuku. They stayed there. But personally, I think for my personality, I'm more of a Shibuya, Harajuku, Ginza gal. Did I say Shinjuku? No, I'm a Shibuya, Harajuku, Ginza gal. Did I say it already? Yes, correct. Shinjuku was a little bit too rowdy for me. Okay, so another thing that I didn't really like about Shinjuku was by nighttime, evening time, you see random men approaching girls. Actually, I don't know what it's for. I realized they only approach local Japanese girls. But on my last few days, they did approach me and I didn't know what the hell they were saying. I just said, no. Because I'm also quite daijek, you know. I'm a big girl, you know. I'm quite tall. Like Japanese girls were really small. So I just said no and gave him the death stare. And I said, I don't want. But I didn't want to give too big of a death stare. I scared he'd come attack me and follow me and know where I stay because my hotel is right there. So yeah, it's just, I didn't feel too safe. So I really just walked straight to my hotel at night. I didn't want to just like roam around too much that area. And a lot of people were smoking there. That's why I didn't like the stench. But again, that was my experience. Maybe I stayed at a different wrong spot of Shinjuku. I don't know. I know there's this nicer area of Shinjuku. That's the Shinjuku Sangchom, which is down the road. Maybe next time I'll stay there. Where I was very close to the Shinjuku station. So I think another tip for all you solo travelers is book your trip places to stay close to local stations. I think you don't want to end up lugging your luggage for like 20 minutes to reach a hotel. So that was my priority when choosing my hotel, was definitely budget. I couldn't book something that's 1,000 a night. So the cheapest at the time was really 400 to 500 a night. I'm like, okay, I'll take it, whatever. But I'm sure you can find cheaper at better times. Yeah. Most of my hotel, they were all at least less than 10 minutes walk to the train station. And it was very, very, very convenient for me. In Kyoto, in Ginza, in Shinjuku, everywhere. So I'm quite glad. So in some ways, very proud of myself. But I also got recommendations from my friends that, you know, you should live in this area because it's closer to the train station. But yeah, for a first timer. But of course, if you're a seasoned Japan traveler, I don't think you need to listen to this one. You know where to go. I'm sure there are better spots. But again, as a first time traveler, I feel like it's always okay to stay at more touristy spots because you get to experience Japan as a tourist before you get familiar and then, you know.
I know what it feels like going to the gym and feel completely clueless and intimidated. I was once there. That's why I started Motion Lab. We're a fitness studio that focuses on small group classes and personal training. Our goal is simple, to help you move better so you can live better. Start your first class for only 49 ringgit today. For more info, go to www.motionlab.live or check us out on IG at motionlabmy. It's motionlabmy.
I think it's very interesting for me that you guys want to know the details that I don't even think about, like what payment method do I use? Okay, I know a lot of you guys actually recommended me the Wise card, but by the time I found out, I think it's a little bit too late because it takes some time to register and get the card delivered to you and whatnot. So I actually went with May card. Surprisingly, very easy because I was already a May user, and my friend said that the exchange rate was not bad, and I think it was not too bad actually, quite close to the what global exchange rate. I don't know what you call it. So yeah, I used May card to travel around Suica, which is like the metro, the bus. You can use this. You can even use Suica to buy stuff at Konbini if you have money in there. It's kind of like a payment card lah, basically. So as long as you have the Suica card, you can use it in Kyoto. You can use it anywhere. And the JR Pass. So another thing is the JR Pass is not a card. It's like a piece of ticket. A lot of people forget to take it. You enter from here, it will come out from the other side. And I saw some people just walk right past because if you lose it, you lose 1,000 ringgit. So remember to take it back. I know it's not a card, so you tend to forget. So remember to never lose it. Like I panicked a few times because I thought I lost it because it's expensive. And you can't technically, can you buy on the spot? I don't know. It took me a week to be delivered to my house. Then I had to exchange it at the station. So I wasn't sure what's going to happen if I lose it. I don't know. I don't want to experience it. But guys, if you have the JR Pass, it's a ticket. It's not a card, okay? Remember to take it back. Even if you don't need it anymore, just never mind. Take it back until the end of your trip because you never know. Because, yeah, just don't do that, okay? Because I saw a few people walk right past and I have to remind them, hey, you forgot your card because that's expensive, okay? And they cannot do anything, yeah. They cannot refund you. They cannot replace for you. If you lose it, that's it. You need to buy a new one. They were very strict about that. So, and JR Pass is not cheap. 7 days, the cheapest one, 1,000 ringgit. I'll be 980. So you do the math, okay? All right, we're coming close to the end of the episode, and this is where I answer some of the questions you guys want to know. I don't know if I covered most of it. I think I covered as much as I could. Again, this episode is really for all you solo travelers or like want to travel solo in the future or just want to know my experience. I hope that was insightful for you. Yeah. Okay, I have a very, very embarrassing story to tell you guys. Okay, I was at Kyoto and I was waiting for the Shinkansen to come back to Tokyo. So again, I have a lot of luggage and I was trying to look for a seat because I was there earlier. So just imagine there's a bench, okay? And there's this uncle in a white Tommy Hilfiger shirt with the padded vest with the sunglasses. He was just folding his arms and seated at the side of the bench, like the corner of the bench. And the bench is quite long. And the other corner is another lady. So in between, you can seat at least 3 more people, okay? And I pushed my luggage towards the center because the uncle actually made space for me. He was so nice. He saw me, like me and Ashley. But Ashley left to the toilet. So she doesn't know about this also. I didn't tell her because it was so embarrassing. Unless she watches this podcast and she knows. But anyway, I pushed my luggage towards the bench, but I didn't sit on the bench. I was facing the bench, if I make sense. Do I make sense? Yeah. So I'm facing the bench, meaning I was kind of facing the uncle that was like diagonally next to me. Okay. And I was waiting, and I'm like, we have another 20 minutes. And before that, I actually tap out a lot of food from Nishiki Market in Kyoto. Like the pan-fried bao, the strawberry, everything, because I wanted to eat on the Shinkansen. It's like a 3-hour ride back. And I'm like, a bit hungry leh. So I took out my pan-fried bao, the Shanghai pan-fried bao. Took it out. Still smells so good. I took out my chopstick, still standing diagonally across the uncle. I don't know what he's, Japanese or traveler or maybe tourist lah. And then I took a bite Not even a full freaking bite, you guys. The juice came out. Never mind. The juice splashed all over the bench and his sleeve. And a little bit went on his phone. So he was playing with his phone. In this moment, I panicked. I'm like, Ashley, please don't come back. Ashley, please don't come back. Maggie, what do I do? Maggie, do I do? Is he Japanese? Is he Japanese? Do I say sorry? How do I say sorry in Japanese? But my body just did this. I just kind of like bow like that, like the Nara deers, you know. I was just like trying to say sorry, but no words could come out of my mouth. And I was like, please. Then I realized, fuck, it's on his sleeve. It's a Tommy Hilfiger shirt. And I'm like, what do I do? And he was very like, he was like in a I don't care mood. So he used his hand, he got juice, then he wiped off. He didn't care. So I was like, oh shit, he didn't even look at me. Okay. And then he put his phone down and then he started folding his arm like that. And then, I don't know if he was angry or what. I'm like, oh fuck. He's not talking. He's not even asking me anything. So because he's not saying anything, I also didn't say anything. I was just frozen still. And I was like, I hope he doesn't see the stain on his shirt. And as soon as I was done with that thought, he turned his head to the left and downwards and he looked on his sleeve. Yo, I thought he was going to freak out and I was ready to say, I'm so sorry, I'm going to pay you for your shirt. He looked down on his sleeve for like 5 seconds. And I was just staring at him the whole time. And then he looked back in front like this. He didn't say a word. And I, in slow-mo, I haven't finished my bite, remember? It was half a bite. I didn't even bite into the pao. I slow-mo put everything in that, pretend like I don't feel like eating anymore. I put it back. And then I didn't turn around or anything. I was still facing him standing in frozen state. And then, like another 10 seconds later, he took his bag. He slowly walked away. Okay? And it was the moment when he walked away, I could breathe. It's like, oh, shit, man. What the fuck? Why did I not say sorry? So I thought, never mind lah, won't see him ever again lah. I just pray to God he's okay with it. He can go back and wash it, right? The story does not end here. What do you think is gonna happen? Is he gonna come back and scold me? Or I don't know. So Ashley came back. She went to the toilet, right? And then she came back. She's like, where's the uncle? I said, I don't know. He At this point, there's still like 15 minutes to the train, you know, it's not plenty of time. I don't know, he just walked away. Ashley, I'm sorry, I lied to you. I was in panic, I don't know what to say. And then both of us sat down and I realized, wow, really a lot of juice on the bench here. So I wiped. And I sat down, okay lah, I didn't tell a single soul. You guys are the first to know. Because I couldn't. I had to process it. And I realized, should I have said sorry? Oh my God. Shit lah, quite a lot of stain on it. And then the stain, right, is like yellowish one, like pea stain, you know? So his white Tommy Hilfiger shirt really stained liao. I feel so bad. Somehow it's Tommy Hilfiger, walao. Then I went to the train and the train arrived like 15 minutes later. And I lugged my luggage. Bella, I know you're laughing. I know you guys know what's gonna happen. In my head, I was like, "Aya, mo ho lang一齊坐嘅. Mo ho lang, he's next to me one." I lugged my luggage. I didn't look around. I was like, they actually gave me the wrong seat. So I actually booked the seat that's supposed to be at the end. But I don't know why the ticket man gave me the middle seat. Holy crap. So my luggage had nowhere to go. I turned around. It was him on the same row with me. Friends, there is 15 cars, like 15 cars on the Shinkan freaking Sen. 15 cars, like, I don't know, 15 or more. It's a long bullet train. We were on the same exact car, same exact freaking row. I just could not. And there was this 2 seconds of death stare with each other. The moment we locked eyes, he was still wearing his sunglasses and he's like, hey, y'all Leia. And at this point, I still did not tell Ashley. She was sitting right next to me. And wow, guys, it was the hardest 3-hour train ride in the going back to Tokyo. So hard that all the food I bought from Nishiki Market got more way. How sick, you know? I have no more appetite. But yeah, that was the most embarrassing part of my trip. I should have said sorry, but he really didn't even respond. I feel like he's one of those father that gongwa one, you know, don't speak a word. And the whole time he was falling asleep on the train, I couldn't sleep in the first hour and a half. I keep looking to my right and I could see the stain drying up. So his sleeve, you know, like the juice drying up is a bit hardened when I'm like, oh shit, now it's going to be hard to remove. Oh my God, that was the craziest, stupidest part of the trip. I don't know, should I have apologized? I would have. Like, I'm the kind to apologize profusely. But I do not know why at the point I froze. And I don't know. Are you guys going to make this into a highlight? Then he will find out, you know. No. Uncle, if you're watching this, if you're from Malaysia, don't come find me. I'm so sorry. You can drop me a DM. I'll pay you back for your shirt if you cannot remove the stain. But yeah, I'm sorry. It was not intentional. I had no appetite to eat my pao anymore after that. It was just cold and shit. I'm like, anyway, that was one embarrassing story, and it was hard keeping it to myself because I had no one to share. Yeah, I mean, I did share with some of my friends after. Okay, so that was funny. And the next one is everyone wants an explanation of the chair in Ginza. It was the main Ginza street. Maggie, how the hell did you grab that chair in the middle of the street with that photo? Okay, I have to tell you a quick story. It was my second last day in Tokyo, or the third last day, I don't remember, lost track of time. I wanted to go to a breakfast place that serves breakfast from all around the world. So if you guys ever get to go, check it out. It's called World Breakfast All Day. It's a restaurant. And when I got there, it was like at least 2 hours wait. I already waited for half an hour and I feel like the queue just wasn't moving. So I thought, I'm not going to wait for another 2 hours and waste my time exploring the city. So my priority was to explore. My priority was not to eat on this trip because I'm on my own, and to be in a queue on your own is very boring, okay? So when you have someone to do it with, it's different. So that's one of the things about traveling solo. But yeah, and then I walked back and I realized the roads were closed. I saw a lot of policemen with Japanese signs and I didn't understand why. I even Googled, what's happening in Ginza today? Then nothing came out. It was all like tips to travel in Ginza, where to go. I'm like, okay, there's nothing going on. Okay, never mind. I'll just follow the crowd. And then actually Joseph sent me a screenshot and said, yo, there's this thing in Ginza, man. You should check it out. And I'm like, oh, that's what's happened. Because I'm in Ginza right now. So it's basically a car-free day, you guys. So the main street, they closed and blocked the road. Not the entire street because cars still have to navigate around, but they closed a big chunk of the main street. Just imagine Bukit Bintang, the entire street is closed. And then they have like umbrellas, like the Ginza Neighborhood Society. They put umbrellas and chairs for everyone to just chill. It's so nice. So if you ever manage to visit Tokyo on a weekend, go to Ginza, you experience it yourself. So how that chair came about was that actually no, there's a story also. Wait, okay. So I'm a solo traveler. My tripod was everywhere. I placed my tripod in the middle of the zebra crossing. Not in the middle, like at the end, so I can walk across the zebra crossing, right? And then I heard someone yelling, "Hey!" And I turned around. This 3-old Japanese uncle, he was trying to speak to me in Japanese. I'm like, sorry, I can't speak Japanese. I can't speak. No speaking Japanese. English only. Oh, English? Like that. Then I'm like, Messi, I thought it's illegal to take photos because I don't know, it's like my first time here. I'm like, what's going on? And then he said, bad. I'm like, bad? What? I did experience some weirdos out there. The uncle that was scolding me in Japanese, his friend was laughing at him scolding me. So I just took that as a cue that he's a little bit cuckoo, and I just said, okay, haha. Then I walked away. So I did experience some of those things. And as I walked further down the road, I saw another empty chair. So I joined them, and God is good. God brought me to this, I think they're Taiwanese couple from LA. I was wearing the Los Angeles cap, the green one. They're like, are you from LA? And I'm like, oh no, I'm from Malaysia. Oh, because your cap says LA. We're from LA. I'm like, oh, cool, hi. So then they're like offering to take pictures for me. And then they said, look, this is what we did. And I saw the photo of the both of them, which is so cute. They're so adorable, so loving. The both of them, an old grandma and grandmother, so they're like basically grandparents, right? Sitting in the middle of the street. They brought 2 chairs in the middle of the street and they took a photo there. So I got inspired by them. So they showed me the photo and said, look, you should totally do this. Then I said, oh my God, can I copy you? That's such a great idea. Then they're like, go girl, we'll take care of your stuff. Go take your photo. So that's how the chair came about. It was inspired by this Taiwanese American couple that I met on this trip, and they were telling me about their trip as well. They were there for a whole month because they are retired and they just want to travel the world and enjoy. So I think those are little pockets of wonderful little moments that I really enjoyed. I got inspired by other people, and my whole slow-mo effect is also something that a friend I met on the trip that told me, you should totally try slow motion because it's so nice and you don't have to take too many shots. It just works. I'm like, it's really nice. Thank you. Because I've got my iPhone for so long, I never actually used the slow-mo effect. So yeah, very, very inspired on this trip. And the chair, I have to credit the uncle and auntie that taught me how to do so because they were the one who did it first. So yeah. And for the time-lapse video, I actually really put the chair in the middle of the street and I hold myself in a position for 30 seconds. So counted in my head. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then I use my eyeball to look around. Is anyone looking at me? Okay, no, continue. 1, 2, 3, 4. So because I needed at least 30 seconds for it to be long enough. Because 30 seconds is only 3 minutes in time lapse, right? So at least, because yeah, that's how I got my video, guys. It's a little bit embarrassing, but I think I have embraced, I was able to embrace the awkwardness, the judgment, the everything towards the end of the trip. I'm like, fuck it, I need my shot and I want my shot. Just do it. So yeah, I did share all the tips on my IG reel, so go for it. Really, nobody cares. In fact, if anything, they would want to help you take your shot as well. So everyone was really, really nice. I even met like a group of Taiwanese friends that was trying to take a shot at the zebra crossing, and they were speaking in Chinese. 可以吗？你帮我拍？可以吗？ And then I said something in Chinese to them as well, and then they were like, 你是台湾人吗？那不是，我是马来西亚。哦，你也是马来西亚，我也有在马来西亚。So it's really nice. You just meet people along the way. So yeah, I think solo trip really, really was so enjoyable for me because as much as I was alone, I wasn't really alone. So yeah, I have explained the chair, you guys. I might do a tutorial next time. Because doing a reel is very tiring. I've been doing back to back. So I'm glad I have a podcast to share everything. Let's see. Okay, how do I snap the shots? Really, again, the tripod, get something that is adjustable in height. I don't think I can drop the link like this right here, but I will share it on my stories. I can't find the link as well, but it's from Lang Zi. I'm pretty sure you can find it on Lazada. Maybe just Google adjustable height tripod Lang Zi. Confirm can find one. You can basically open up the leg and then pull it all the way up, and it's very sturdy. I love it. A little bit heavier, so I have to bring my tote bag everywhere to put it in because in my small handbag, it really cannot fit. It's like at least this long. How long is that? I don't know. Yeah. Okay, and next one. Plan early. How do you budget and research for holidays effectively? Guys, I think this one is very subjective. I think it really depends on your budget. It depends on what kind of traveler you are. Again, for me, I'm just not the kind who needs to eat good food. I feel like everything in Japan was good at any random restaurants. But I know some of my friends who would queue up like 3 hours for the kichi omurice, which I wanted to go, but like on my own, I'm not gonna queue for 3 hours. I didn't want to do that. So my priority for this trip was a little bit different. Maybe next time if I come again with friends or with someone else, it would be to explore these places that I didn't get to. But this trip was really to immerse myself in the city. It was that's it. I just wanted to be there. And along the way, I saw things that sparked joy in me. I wanted to buy. I went for it within my budget. Okay, I allocated a separate budget for my shopping. I did a lot of really just wandering around. You see me at Shibuya at 10 a.m. and then Ginza at 2 and then back at Shibuya and then Harajuku. I was just everywhere. And I think that really was the best part of my trip because I didn't have any plan. Yeah. And I just kind of let my instinct bring me to places. But of course, I had to navigate on how to get there. But yeah, I'm not sure if that's helpful, but I'm that kind of traveler. Go with the flow. I was literally going with the flow, which is why I don't have a fixed itinerary. Must buy list in Japan. Period underwear. I don't know. I use period underwear, and I think I talked about this many times before, and I was shocked because in Japan, it's like $10 cheaper, y'all. So I bought 6 more. So I'm set for the year. I don't have to buy any more period underwear because in Malaysia, I checked, it's 79.90 ringgit. And in the Uniqlo in Ginza, the biggest one that's like 12 floors, oh my God, that was crazy. It's like 1,990 yen, which is about 63 ringgit. And after tax deduction is even cheaper. And they also have another version that's like a more lightweight one. So they actually have more variety in Uniqlo. Oh my God, it was crazy. It was heaven. I know. And then there's this other brand that I discovered in Japan that's called GU. I bought this skirt from there, by the way. I couldn't find it in Uniqlo, but it was there. So GU is also a sister brand or a company a brand under Uniqlo as well, owned by the same retail owner. So you can see GU and Uniqlo quite similar, but the style's slightly more different. I would say GU is a bit more trendier, which is why you can see all these like trendy skirts and all that. But Uniqlo is like the best basics. You can find everything there. Yo, have you been to a 12th floor Uniqlo? Come on! I was there for at least 2 hours or 3. There's a cafe. There's a whole floor selling just airism. There's a whole floor just jeans. They even have, like, for the men, make Uniqlo tucks for you. Holy crap. Malaysia don't have, okay? So I know, like, people like, you go Japan, go to Uniqlo. Malaysia also got what? Honey, it's different. You have to go check out Uniqlo, especially the Ginza one. The popular one where you can see the shirts moving around like in a pendulum swing. Yeah. They also sell flowers. Uniqlo flowers. Come on, you guys. Come on. Yo. Ugh, so good. Anyway, sorry. I really loved it. Okay. I think the next thing I would say is the toughest part of the trip. The last few questions. Toughest part was definitely having to lug the luggage by myself. My knees was actually bruised because it was very heavy, like 30 kilos at least of weight on me, excluding a lot of other bags. So that was difficult. And a lot of the train station, very hard to find a lift and escalator, and I'm not sure why. So I have to really lug them down the stairs by myself. Were people helpful? I didn't experience any local people helping me, because I think I was bigger than them. But there was this one white guy, he's a tourist as well. He helped me. He said this, "Daijou desu ka?" Is that, I hear it a lot. I think it means, "Are you okay?" or something like that. "Sumimasen, daijou desu ka?" And I'm like, "Oh, I can speak English. Yes, please help me," because it's too heavy. But yeah, only one time, someone helped me. So expect to be lugging your stuff on your own. So I wish I packed more efficiently, but I packed really last minute because I got COVID before that and I was super sick and I didn't plan, I didn't think. So I wish I packed better because I think I would have packed way lesser and just buy in Japan because the things there was just irresistible and a lot of things I couldn't buy because I realized I didn't have enough luggage space and I didn't want to buy I almost bought an extra luggage on the way back, but I stopped myself. Okay, it was like that. So if you go to Japan, be prepared to want to buy things. For the men especially, all the thrifting stuff, yo, 很美, really, really nice, but also very expensive. There's this spot you guys should totally check out is Jam Trading. Kyoto has them. I'm not sure if yes, Shimokitazawa has them as well. But the Kyoto version, Kyoto branch, I felt it was way better curated. But anyway, yeah, that was the hardest part, lugging my luggage around and ordering food because I'm not really a big eater. I feel like I'm a big eater, but when you want to eat so much, all kinds of variety, it's very hard to eat on your own. So I think really solo traveling, you gotta have to sacrifice certain things unless you want to waste food. But yeah, don't waste food. You just gotta sacrifice certain things, I guess. Yeah, luggage, ordering food. And also I think the absolute hardest part was definitely when I received the news that my grandma passed away. It was not even halfway through my trip. Not being able to be there with my family was hard because it was the moment where I really needed a hug the most. And really, there's just no one there. You just have to realize that you are all you have in the time and you are all you can rely on. And that's a different kind of growth that you experience internally by yourself. It's not about solitude. It's not about that. It's really about finding strength in yourself. Yeah, when you really have nothing to cling on, you are the only person that you can cling on. So I experienced that. It was very, very hard. I wanted to even just hug a pillow, like I just wanted to hug something. But I was on the Shinkansen and there was this also Malaysian couple next to me. I think they were like, why is this girl crying? I cried from Kyoto, you guys. 3 hours nonstop. I was just like bawling my eyes out. And I felt so bad and I started wearing my cap and I put on my mask so that they don't really see. But I was just sniffing and sniffing and sniffing. So what I did was, actually at the end of the trip, I had to get off first because they were going to Osaka. So I actually told them, by the way, I'm so sorry. I know it was so awkward for you guys because I was just crying the whole trip here. Actually, my grandma passed. So I just wanted them to have some context. I don't want them to think that, ooh, that's the crazy girl who kept crying, right? Yeah, so then they were really nice about it. But for me, I felt like if I were them, I would also want to know why this girl was just crying. So I felt like, yeah, I'm sorry I made it so awkward for you guys because I think they were trying to not feel awkward. Yeah. Anyway, that was one of the hardest part of the trip. And finally, I think the biggest fear, traveling alone, I'm scared of ghosts. So if you know me, no, it's a big deal. If you know me, I can never sleep in hotel's room alone. I swear to God, I cannot one. So when I go on media trips, I would request to share a room one. I would request who's going or can I share a room with a client? And even if I don't get to share a room, I'll on all the lights and I'll sleep with the TV on. Because I'm scared like that. I'm a scaredy cat. So that's why going on this trip, this was one of my biggest worry because, I don't know, I hear all these Ju-on Japanese ghosts growing up. I just have this stupid fear in my head, But I have to say this though, I think I overcome that fear myself on this trip. I think from now on, maybe I can sleep in the hotel's room by myself. I did a lot of prayers. Every time I knock 3 times before, I come in and I go in and say, Jesus, please bring all the evil spirits out of this room and just fill it with your Holy Spirit and keep me safe, Jesus. I spoke to JC a lot. So my man, JC, kept me safe. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, like in some ways, this trip was quite spiritual, but not in that way, but like just a lot of peace and solitude. And I could feel safe in my own space in that room. So yeah. What else? I think that's really it. Oh yes, one of the toughest part for the capsule hotel is very hard to fart, guys. I'm not even joking. You want to fart, your next door neighbor can hear you because I heard someone fart very loudly, okay? But the best thing is, I guess no one knows who is who. Yeah, it was very packed and that was really one of the challenges. But that's the beauty of it, right? You get to experience living in a hotel that's a little bit different. You have to go to the toilet that's on the 4th floor, a shower on the 4th floor, your room is on the 3rd floor, and then you have to exit on the first floor. But every time you go down, the lift will always stop at the second floor because they made it in such a way so they know who's coming in. I'm like, a little bit mafan in that sense. But overall, I think I had such a great experience. I think that's enough. I think it's been about an hour plus now. I think I shared as much details as I could. And I hope this episode would inspire you guys to also go on a solo trip. I think there were more great moments than sadness. I tried my best to still enjoy the trip as much as I can because I'm already here, right? Like I have to make it worthwhile. And I know my grandma wouldn't want me to just wallow in sadness throughout the trip because she's not around, because I know she's always there. My family were also very, very understanding because I actually took a trip down to JB to see her about less than a month before she passed. So I have no regrets, because if I didn't see her a month ago, I would have regretted and maybe just packed my bags and end the trip short. But to end the trip short is also extremely expensive. The flight back, almost impossible to book because it's peak season. Everything is full. I did check as well. So yeah. And I think this was one of the best decisions I've made for myself this year. And I don't know, something is activated inside me. I really want to go to another one. Maybe not so long. I don't know, 2 weeks was okay lah. But in between I had friends, so it helped. I really, really would like to say thank you guys as well for being there for me. I think you guys sending me messages really make me feel less alone, especially when I share about my grandma's passing. It really helped me. I think it was cathartic in a different way because I felt like I had no one, but my online fam were really the people that I could somewhat feel like I could be close to at the time. So it was nice. So thank you very much. And if you guys ever are doubting and thinking about going on a solo trip, after experiencing it, I would say there's just no right way. You just have to experience it yourself. You may like it, you may not. I liked it. Would I do it again? Yeah, for sure. Would I do it every single time I travel? No, definitely not, because some travels just is better with friends and your loved ones and someone else. But there are some trips that you can totally do it alone. So I think the one takeaway really is that I'm just braver now. I'm more comfortable with myself. And I think I really like myself a lot. I think because to spend so much time with yourself, it takes a lot of self-love. You got to be so head over heels for yourself to want to spend time with yourself. Because would you spend time with someone you don't like? No, right? So I realized I really like myself on this trip. I'm like, I love how chill I am. I love how spontaneous I am. I love how I'm so open to experiences at the same time. And also, yeah, I just like it. I really enjoyed it. So I'm losing my voice. So I'm going to end the episode here. And if you guys have more questions, feel free to drop in YouTube comments. I can see them. I can reply them there. But otherwise, I wish you guys all the best if you're also going on your first solo trip, and have fun. And don't forget to fall head over heels for yourself first and always, because I'm pretty sure you're going to do that on your solo trip. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
I know what it feels like going to the gym and feel completely clueless and intimidated. I was once there. That's why I started Motion Lab. We're a fitness studio that focuses on small group classes and personal training. Our goal is simple: to help you move better so you can live better. Start your first class for only 49 ringgit today. For more info, go to www.motionlab.live or check us out on IG at motionlabmy. It's motionlabmy.